Welcome. Is the show live? Yay! Okay, welcome everyone to the Foolish Tech Show. This is we got a smaller crew here this morning. We had a late night out. We had to do a sales presentation out in Durham, North Carolina, Proctor and I. And so we didn't get back till about midnight last night. If you want to join us, we're here for our customers, though, primarily for the show. You can join us at foolishtechshow.com, foolishtechshow.com, or foolishit.com/live. We have IRC chat available there. You can log in and chat with us and discuss anything you'd like to about our software services or tech in general. If you have no questions or nothing, if you guys don't want to chat about anything with us, we'll be happy to discuss common news, tech items, stuff related to our software, and just whatever we're interested in. And yes, we have Nick, and in fact, the show would be just fine if only his face were up there. So thank you for joining us. You're always here, Nick. So thank you, thank you. Let's see. I have no idea what I'm going to talk about, so bear with me for a few moments.
Nice. No show. Well, let's tell them what we're here for.
Yeah, no, we're like I said, we're here to support our software and services. Any questions you may have about our D7 line of software, D7, D7.2, D7X, please let us know. We're also ransomware is a huge problem these days with all the recent media reports. That's one of the things we did the presentation on yesterday in front of a group of Spiceworks attendees. Is discuss our crypto prevent software and how that can be used and how effective it is and what approaches it takes. And we've discussed a lot of that on the air. I don't want to rehash so much of that, especially I'm a little hoarse after yesterday, but this is for you guys out there. So just let us know what we can do. Too late, Matthew. Already took care of the broadcast, but thank you very much for asking.
Ouch.
No, it's okay. Like I said, he's got a very good excuse.
He's going to be several hours late, and then he just says, "Oh shit, I can broadcast the show if necessary." It's
yeah, right. Now, just
guess I should have paid attention when no one was telling me how to do this.
Yeah, I really hope to God that no videos start playing, but
I thought by now it would be worked out.
Let's see. All right, so let me find some news to discuss. Sorry about that, guys. That must have been a link from a previous day. Oh boy, and the phone calls keep coming. Oh, it's gonna be a rough one, guys. I'm sorry. Let me see here.
We haven't noticed.
Back to news. Back to news. All right. There is a bounty out currently for hacking a Chromebook in guest mode. Apparently, Google's pretty serious about making sure the Chromebook is a hardened platform. They're offering $100,000 apparently to anyone that can do this. Yeah, ha, it's me, of course, Glenn. I know you were listening to a video. I know. You just rant and bring it on. I deserve it. I was unprepared to start the show this morning. Proctor had been doing it, as you guys know, and it had been going quite smoothly. I must compliment him on that. But again, because of his absence this morning, that's not going too terribly well. But six-figure sum for a bounty, that's pretty impressive. Anybody who needs to put that down payment, on their larger home, please go ahead and crack a Chromebook. For all, we were talking about SSDs a little bit at the presentation. And it's basically, we were all in agreement, and we were talking about hard drives and hard drive reliability and SSD reliability. And recently, it looks like there's been some studies at Rutgers and Microsoft suggesting that humidity has, I mean, the data shows that humidity has more of an effect on drive failure than temperature itself. So for everyone living in humid environments and experiencing very high drive failures, that may be the reason. I'll go ahead and post the link to that. Oh my, yeah, I can't answer this. 1 second. So how do I turn off my phone? So oh no, I have no idea how to not turn this phone off. How do I make this stop ringing? I have to press something up here. Except, okay, well, I turned that off. Oh, you probably saw that. Okay. Anyway, where was I? Ugh. Amazon's goal of security is replacing passwords with selfies and videos, apparently. Oh, if I like that idea. First of all, I don't like taking pictures of myself. Don't like other people taking pictures of myself. And certainly not going to do a video. Oh, wait, we're doing videos right now. Oh, wait, but I don't have any video going, do I? All right, I'll see if I can get my video started. But yeah, any thoughts on that, crew?
Sorry, what?
You can look at my posts if you want to.
Ouch.
Down the list of news.
I swear things are biting me that aren't there.
Wait, the clock. I gotta start the clock.
Hang on, guys. Gotta turn her down.
No problem.
Now no one can see anyone.
Oh.
It's a show full of blanks.
No, 1 second. 1 second. There we go.
Yeah, we're not about selfies on this show.
Wait a second. I gotta get my Sparker cam up. All right, here we go, folks. There you go.
Ah!
I know it's a mess. All right.
Oh, no, it's Halloween.
Yeah, it's Halloween. Green screen, boom. My horrible green screening techniques. I never did find out how to adjust these guys. My left and right tolerances and stuff. I don't know how that crap works. Black clipping. Oh, no, we don't want to do that. White clipping. Should I clip some whiteness? Color shift. Sure. Anyway, okay. So, where's
excuse
everyone
me.
else? Johnny's traveling, I think. Brentley is, I don't know. Tank is with us, obviously. Nick is with us, obviously. Michael, I'm here. Proctor, like I said, he was involved in a late presentation. We did something at 6:30. It didn't get done till 8:30, and it took place in Durham, which ends up being about 2 hours from both of us. So we didn't get back till quite late last night. And oh, RTM Tech, thank you for joining us. And here's a link he posted regarding stuff we can use to educate customers about ransomware. Let's take a look at that.
Ooh. I like that, actually.
Social engineering red flags. This is produced by, who is it produced by? Know Before Human Error Conquered? Know Before Inc. I don't know. But they actually produced this slide here that RTM mentions. It's kind of cool. I like it. It's not completely all-encompassing, but it generally points out some good things. Thank you for sharing that. I'll look at that in a little bit more detail later. But we're all, audio? Did we lose audio?
Nice.
Can you not hear me, RTM?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear John?
I'm Nick to this crowd.
Oh, Nick.
Sure.
Sorry.
Michael B. Brown.
Okay, Thermos says it's all good here. All right, Thermos. Well, that's good. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Mike and Vise. Wow, Futures Crew 2 is here. Oh, everyone is here. God bless you all.
Oh, wonderful.
Wow,
is Mike Invise here?
Oh, like everybody just seemed to dump in. But thank you,
Wow.
thank you for joining us today, everyone. And again, sorry for the rough start. Sorry for the late start. Sorry for the lack of crew this morning. There's reasons for that. I've already mentioned them, but just bear with us today. It'll be a little bit more rough than usual, but we'll still try to communicate some good information. And I don't want to lose track of what everyone is saying. So,
Right on.
RTM says it must be him regarding his sound. I recommend the volume mixer. Take a look. Low. I can talk louder. That's because of, oh crap. Okay. I gotcha. All right. So let's see. Now I should be cooking with grease.
I don't want to know about your grease.
My notifications are louder than that. Yes. Yeah. I got that. Okay. So I'm a little bit louder now. I've turned myself up. Yeah. No, reboot's not going to be able to happen unless you want the show to completely end. So anyway, those are some good articles about, the drive failure and security and stuff. I thought those were kind of neat. Not many of, I don't know, what's your guys' opinion out there on video cards? Do you guys believe Filth and Mike and Glenn and RTM and Shook and Shri and Ian? Is Ian here?
Goodness.
Who's here? Nels, Quark, all you guys, what are your thoughts on the whole green versus red, NVIDIA versus AMD? What?
It's red versus blue. Get it right.
Oh, well, yeah, red versus blue for those old school gamers out there, but green versus red in what I'm referring to for video cards. So are you guys generally in the NVIDIA camp, or is AMD more your thing? I see Mike says he's got a GTX 970. That's obviously an NVIDIA card. Mike seems to be agreeing with NVIDIA. I know Brantley has a 970 as well. He's pretty generally pleased with that. Yeah, and NVIDIA I think is generally very strong. I just don't like their proprietary push for certain types of technologies, particularly the whole PhysX crap. I also don't like the fact that their architecture seems to be a little bit more geared to the old serialized nature of pre-DirectX 12 stuff. So basically, their design was perfect for that, but again, they kind of based it around the DirectX and being focused on DirectX and the ins and outs and of that. Now, AMD, I think, took a slightly more generalized approach, and they were generally criticized because their drivers generally didn't perform as well as NVIDIA's drivers. But as it turns out, their focused on a more parallel architecture allowed their DirectX 12 numbers to be quite strong. And that doesn't quite tell the whole story of it, but it just shows that they, placed their focus in different areas. Thank you, Filth. I like them both, and I think they both had great cards, and I wouldn't dismiss one just based upon the chips manufacturer. But speaking of that, I'm very anxious to see a refresh of AMD's Fuji high-end cards and other product lines. They've been a little bit, I think, more dormant development-wise, but that's maybe because they're working on some big things on the back end, and possibly as an example of that, is this little tidbit about their it's going to be basically a dual Fury card, it looks like. Should bring quite a lot of power to the table, and because of its, as I mentioned, because of its optimizations on DirectX 12 and generally being a better DirectX 12 performer, I think that may be the best route to go. And as you all know, that it's usually quite a bit cheaper, and Video usually wants a lot more for their cards. It's this is obviously a very high-end board here. This is going for 1,500, but NVIDIA's professional line of cards also go for a very large amount, even more so than that. So I don't know, just wanted to put that out there. It's good to see that they're still focusing on that, despite them not being able to produce a CPU worth shit. I think their graphics team is great, and I wish them all the best. And I wish that they would. I wish there was more competition. In other words, I'd like for them to play off each other more, NVIDIA and AMD, but that'll never work. What else? I gotta take us. Somebody else talk for a little while.
Okay, I'm back, so now I can, because you were the only one here, by the way. So I was talking for a little while. Why don't you take call-ins or something? I'm sure someone will call in.
How does that work?
I don't know. I thought you were supposed to know. Bradley was talking about wanting to do it the other day.
I know, but that's after I did. That's after I stopped doing the broadcast. So I don't know how to do the call-ins. But if you want to call in a number, what's the number?
I don't know. Okay,
so guys, pick a random number and start dialing, and keep dialing until you get connected to us.
309.
That's a good number. No, sir.
Go on something because a moment here. I have to, like I said, I'm trying to help a customer here.
Neat. Oh, duh. That's what I need to do. Well, what are you doing, Michael?
Helping a customer. I'm sorry.
Why?
Because they want to buy. They bought something for us, and they don't know. They're having some problems.
Okay. Are you live with them or something?
I'm live chatting with them. So.
You're chatting with them. Okay.
Yeah.
Jeez. Okay.
Well,
I'm coding right now, so I really can't do anything either.
Okay.
Gosh, all right, man, you're killing us. That's why I don't ever get work done. See what's going on in the chat, Ski. Because Michael's a bum.
What was it?
Shook has been yelling at the screen for 3 minutes. Guest host. I would be happy to have a guest host. We obviously need one today, considering everyone is who knows where the heck. Michael's doing his own little thing because he forgot that he's in the middle of hosting a show. Much like this morning when he forgot he was awake and he had to host the show. I know, Joan Rivers would be fun. She would actually be an awesome
Can we get Betty White?
You know, but I would not sleep with Joan Rivers. I'm sorry. That's all I'm saying. It was a Louis C.K. thing. That's he in one of his shows on the Fox show. on Louis on the Fox show. Louis, he met Joan Rivers and he slept with her. This is hilarious. Holy crud. Okay, so check it. Glenn's got a phone number, right? And a meeting ID. He put that on there. I guess Brantley was hosting it, right? So he was taking the call into, oh, so it probably just comes right into Ring Central, dude. That would be an invalid meeting ID for today. What's today's meeting ID? Where do you get that information? Oh, invite. Duh. Let's see here. Okay, so oh way. Hey, let's do this, guys. For real. So, Thermos is talking about we need to revamp the FTP setup guide. Michael.
Huh? I'm sorry, I'm still working with them.
Oh, you're leaving, Glenn? Oh. Michael, what are you doing now?
Still helping them, but
why don't you tell them that you're in the middle of hosting a show?
Looks like we
Good
may
morning.
have a calling user.
Michael?
Who? Hello? Who's this?
Hello, this is Shuk.
Oh, Shuk! Hey,
Shuk.
welcome. So we do have a caller.
Yay! I thought that was the other Michael, but it's not, and I'm glad. It's just Shuk.
Oh, I feel so welcome there, Nick.
Well, and just to clarify, I'm specifically talking about Michael Invise, not any other Michael in the chat. Just not Michael Spice Corps. I don't know you, I don't think, but feel free to jump in. Michael Invise. I don't know about you, man. Actually, you can jump in too. I know you're not busy. He's a computer repair business owner too. I know he's not busy though. What's happening today, Shuk?
Oh, had a real busy couple of weeks there. That's why I haven't been on some of the shows, so sorry about that. But yeah, had a RAID crash and, or I should say a disk go out on a RAID and then had to rebuild that. And then after a successful rebuild, then the RAID went raw. So that wasn't good.
Sorry about that, man.
Man, I had a RAID issue like that in a server one time, okay? And I had started my own business in a new area that I lived in, just married, started my own business, newborn. And I had no business but one guy I got called to for like his home thing. He was like the first guy. And he was the CEO of a company who also needed work done at the company. Now I get to the company and it's an Exchange server, and it's a it's like a failing disk in a RAID, and it had some other issues. It had like actually a host of issues that were just like miscellaneous server and Exchange related quirks and problems that needed to be worked out from the event logs and things. But it took like an hour to shut down and reboot, that kind of thing, which really made for a stressful day in this little hot room.
Right.
And it was really like my first server job. And
oh boy,
it was of this level, and I was on my own, and so
that's scary.
But I did the work, I got everything done. I got the RAID replaced. But what was, oh gosh, I wish I could remember the exact sequence of events. But essentially, the story is that I did lose the RAID, but I had backed it up. I had backed up the RAID configuration.
Oh, good.
So I lost.
Oh, boy.
So I did lose the RAID, but I was able to restore it from backup and did replace it and save the day and everything. And I made bank on that job too. But now,
oh, did you?
but yeah, oh yeah. And I told the guy too, and I knew I undercharged him for what he probably would have paid anyone else. But at the same time, I made a lot of money, and I told him that, I told him through the whole thing. I was like, this is my first. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is like my first, venture into this specific kind of service. And what you're asking me to do is just a little bit like I know how to do it. I just don't do it, So bear with me, and I'm going to charge you less, and et cetera, et cetera. But you got to understand that there's a certain risk involved,
Right. Oh, absolutely.
He was insistent on it, But so that's how I got my start into working on servers and stuff. And it was like, and all I can tell you is I did spend like 8 hours in that room that day doing the replacement.
Oh, boy.
I lost the RAID and everything. I spent like 8 hours in that room because of that. It was horrible.
I got to tell you, I'm
shut down. It took like an hour to shut down, and everything was so messed up and delicate that I didn't want to just yank the power, and just all kind of mess. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's fine. That's I'm just thinking about myself and in a situation of just staring at a server taking an hour to shut down. That's a pretty uncomfortable hour.
yeah, it is. Especially when you're waiting on what's going to happen on the next reboot. You're just waiting on the edge of your seat. Literally, it was probably like 30 minutes or so, really, realistically.
Still though.
But it was actually due to, I have a blog post about it. Actually, on my blog, it was actually due to a race condition in Exchange between Exchange and Active Directory. Because the same box hosted their Active Directory. Well, Active Directory wants to shut down before Exchange does, because Exchange has grown to such a size and it's doing so much stuff that it needs to it's longer to shut down. But so Active Directory shuts down first. And when Active Directory shuts down first, Exchange cannot query Active Directory for some information that it needs. So Exchange just hangs for like 15 minutes or more each time it queries Active Directory. Like, so that causes the during the shutdown bit. And so there's like a registry fix that you can do to make sure that, no, it wasn't a registry. It was a batch file I had to create there might be a registry thing. I had to create a batch file for it.
But while you're on site, while this is going on.
I'm sorry, it was a log off script, and the log off script would shut down Exchange service, and then the proceed with the log off, so that the Active Directory shut down after the log off. So if it's a log off script and the log off shuts down Exchange, then Active Directory would, once you shut down those services, then it would actually resolve the problem. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I was just thinking, while you're on site and in the moment there, how did you identify the race condition?
Google.
Oh, okay. So just explaining what was going on, and people are like, "Oh yeah, here's what it is. I got you."
I found a TechNet article about it, I believe.
Okay.
You know, it was specifically about that. Yeah. So.
Yeah, on the RAID thing we were talking about. I got to tell you, I'm finding the RAIDs to be a little too delicate or whatever. I've had a couple of issues with them, and with this one customer that I just had to, you know, it was one disk that had to be brought in, totally no problem. RAID never went down. Rebuilt one disk, and as I mentioned, then the whole RAID went raw, which means when you're on Windows, then it can't see the RAID anymore. The RAID's it's gone. It just says raw, and you can't use the data anymore. It's useless, basically. It is in a state where you can.
Yeah, I had that.
You had that.
I had that problem when I lost the RAID on it. So.
Yeah, and while it's in that state, you can, because it's the RAID, even though it's raw, you can still, like, you know, Linux tools or whatever, you can get in there and back up your data. So that's the good part. But basically, I'm feeling like, boy, sometimes these RAIDs are so delicate. And then
some suggestions, Mike,
I ended up.
If you have
what's that?
I have some suggestions and some questions for you too regarding this. So what was the volume? What was the total number of disks and the total size of the array that you were referring to with this particular issue when you had that issue?
With that issue, I believe it was. I remember it was 4 or 5 disk array. 4 to 5 disks. It was a RAID 6. It was a RAID 6, 4 or 5 disk. After this experience, I changed the whole thing. I'm not doing parity RAIDs anymore. I went RAID 10 with 6 disk.
Okay. At any rate, that was with the 45 disk, what RAID level was it?
6.
RAID 6. Okay. And what was the size of each drive?
1 terabyte.
Just 1 terabyte?
Just 1 terabyte.
Okay. There are issues with RAID rebuilds on like non-enterprise drives that can't sustain the, if the rebuild process, moves enough data to exceed the error rate on any one of the drives, it very well is likely to drop out and, cause something like what you're seeing. And that can happen if building an array without an enterprise or properly, a drive that won't experience those types of error rates. So, do you know what the drives were specifically? I've had a go.
Yeah, they're Western Digital blacks.
Blacks, yeah. See, I actually wouldn't put blacks in those things. I would put reds, purples, things of that nature in those drives.
I like the lighter hues myself.
Probably the red pros. The black drives are great performance-wise drives, but they're not enterprise-level reliability, and their error rates are low enough. Although with your particular situation, the fact that they were only 1 terabyte, though, leads me to believe that wasn't the case for you specifically, but could have been if just happened to be some bad drives in there or questionable drives. And it's not so much that the drive itself is actually going bad. It's just
my problem was I didn't know what I was doing, but luckily I had backed it up through the Windows utility. I mean, it was data RAID, and I restored it like that too. I had done it because I was actually switching. I was actually upgrading the size of the drives as I was replacing the failed one, so it was a little more involved, complicated, like a little more of an operation because I had to do the step and then the step and then so. But I didn't really know what I was doing so much. I wasn't practiced at it,
Yeah, I definitely hear you. And space is not an issue with this particular customer. Space is fine. It's more about having a reliable RAID. As reliable as you can make it.
I'd recommend enterprise level drives, as I said, or drives that are designed to be used in a more more stressful environment. And also RAID controllers. Big deal. I don't know specifically what you were doing or building your RAID with, if it was just onboard motherboard RAID or if it was something else.
It's actually a good controller, but you're correct. These were not enterprise drives. Those SAS drives kind of get expensive fast, but it's an Adaptec 6805, so it's a good controller.
Okay, that's probably not the case. No, how much RAM you got on the Adaptec card? Do you know?
I didn't hear the question. I'm sorry.
Right, there's RAM on the Adaptec card.
The RAM on the Adaptec, that's small. It's like 512 meg.
Okay. Yeah, I had one issue with somebody. It looked like the RAM on the card, the RAID card had failed. It was causing some crazy problems with doing things. But
I used to use a lot of RAID. I used to see a lot of RAID 02. That was a big thing, Glenn, back in the day. The gamers. Yeah, that's what you put on your gaming rig was RAID.
If you can get reasonably priced enterprise level drives or something other than black, like I said, you may want to give that a spin and see if you have a better experience. But does anybody else in the audience have any recommendations on this matter for him, his specific issue? I know, Glenn, you've been talking a lot about, well, you've been joking a lot about RAID, but is anybody have any serious experience to share with Mike here? Or not? I was just hoping that maybe somebody else had created an array. Maybe somebody who's listening to us had created an array of black drives and wondered if.
I wish they would. Who has done this? Where is this going? Develop a drive bender, drive harmony from data core. Cool. What interests me is drive extender. I want that. I actually don't mind the concept of software RAID, and from an OS standpoint, drive extender and Windows Home Server was the shiz. At least the Home Server 2. It was so awesome, and they just ditched it.
Yeah. Home Server was nice. I agree.
Oh, just plug in a new disk. Disk failed. Just plug in a new disk. Disk failed. Just plug in a new. I mean, it was literally like everything was just so simple. You know, there was no delicacy involved like there was with,
so
hardware based.
Ryan, just to reiterate, his particular RAID setup that I was having trouble with was a RAID 6 with 5 drives, and they were all Western Digital black 1 terabyte drives. And he's using an Adaptec 6805 controller to power that. So again, if any of you can provide some specific device for his situation, or if you have general recommendations, please cough them up. I'd love to hear somebody else's experience with the matter, but I actually have never built a RAID with black drives. I've built a ton of workstations with them, but never. Actually, I take that back. I probably did a RAID 0 with two blacks, but that I don't think particularly counts as a real RAID at the level that you were doing. And Michael Learman is with us.
Unraid is a Linux-based operating system optimized for media file storage. CryptoSoft RAID, OpenBSD, encrypting discipline for the soft RAID subsystem, encrypts data on a single chunk to provide for data confidentiality. There's data by chunk.
Ryan suggests
does not provide redundancy.
Ryan suggests using Lenovo's drives. He's found them to be very reliable. I don't know. I also wanted to just quickly mention, because, again, we do crypto RAM, we do software security, malware protection, ransomware protection, that type of thing. This isn't ransomware particularly, but I thought it was cool because it basically allows no dropper to be put on the computer to cause the infection. Basically, it's an infection written in PowerShell, and so it's resident in memory. And apparently, the PowerShell executable could also be run hidden so that you don't even see it. So this would be in pretty high risk, I would say. Now, of course, since the infection lies in RAM, it's going to be probably pretty easy to wipe out, rebooting or whatnot, but something to consider and something to keep an eye out for. And yeah, take a look, read that, and let me know if you guys have any thoughts on that as well. I'm going to try
for any ransomware-based attack, Crypto Prevent, pretty much 100% intercepts all of those attempts, right? The way CP works.
In this particular case, it's going to be PowerShell, and they're basically just running PowerShell scripts. So and since it's not a drop or there's not going to be like a file placed anywhere from what I understand. I think PowerShell would technically still be running. If you were able to kill instances of PowerShell, you might be able to terminate that. But I don't terribly see a way for CryptoPrevent to prevent this type of thing. Again, it's not ransomware in any way. It is technically malware, but it's using a different vector, I think. And so we'll have to research that a little bit more, see if there's something we can do to.
What are we looking at here? Word documents with malicious macros. Well, I mean, that just goes back to disabling macros and.
That's true. I really don't think CryptoPrevent is the blocker for this. It's probably, like Nick said, the macro.
Yeah. I mean, the technology is already there. Actually, the setting could be managed by CryptoPrevent, though.
That might be something that we want to consider
for the various levels of office and viewers that.
But I don't know.
Did I just see Michael Learman?
Yeah, he was in here, and I'm a little unclear how that happened.
And now he's not.
Yeah.
Hey, Michael. It's probably because I pasted the links for everyone to join the thing in the IRC.
Oh, yeah, he got.
That might have something to do with it. Hey, Michael.
There you go.
You're a little bit quiet there, but awesome.
Michael, speak up. Oh my gosh.
What's up?
Is that your room? Oh my God.
Why are you in a... I have never seen this before. Get off of our chat.
first time visitor, get out.
Clean your room up. No, I've never seen this before. He's always at his office. What are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing not at your office?
Oh, I just woke up like half hour ago.
Oh, that's right. It's you're out in Utah, aren't you? So
yeah, it's 8:30 here.
Yeah.
Well, shave that scruff off your face, get into the office, and then come back.
Dude, you should get into the office. Like, get out of your bedroom there.
I am. This is my office.
Well, that's your bedroom.
I have 3 monitors in front of me with 2 of them's got code on it right now.
Yeah, well, look at over there. I've got an Invise plaque on the wall.
Okay. What does that mean? Do you work from home?
I work in this office sometimes.
Your bed is on an angle.
Is it?
It looks like it's angled. Is it? I'm sorry. Your camera's all fisheye.
Yeah. It's the SJ cam.
SJ cam, huh?
So
yeah.
So Anonymous declared total war on Donald Trump, apparently.
Cool.
Yeah, I kind of like this idea.
Well, I hope they can do something before the election, because afterwards you kind of got to back off, or we're all doomed. I don't know. I don't know how that works, actually.
I'm not sure how it works either.
We'll just kind of like cut off the bottom there for you. Or like tilt.
There,
Thank you. That's way, way, way better. Now, on your left monitor, you can just proceed to do your banking and whatever else you want.
LG, Brantley should be happy about this. LG's released the first smartphone with built-in DAB+ circuitry, allowing users to listen to the radio without consuming mobile data bandwidth. Now, that's cool because you could probably use something like that to do the SDR stuff that we've, the software-defined radio stuff that we've talked about in the past. That's kind of neat. Maybe I will be buying an LG phone in the future.
Hey,
it's not going to be released in the U.S. Oh, crap. It's not going to be released in the U.S. They can go F themselves.
See. Word macro.
Dropbox users may be interested to know that Amazon, Dropbox moved their data off of Amazon S3 to their own infrastructure. I don't know if that's good or bad, but if their own infrastructure is decent, that could be a good thing, and it's nice to keep the data.
Wait, Dropbox has been using Amazon servers?
Yeah, I didn't know that actually, so that was news to me.
That is news to me, but on the other hand, that's not too bad. I mean, Amazon's pretty reliable.
Yeah, yeah. So that's the thing. If it's not as reliable, if their own internal thing is not as reliable, I would be concerned. But
They are not very reliable when it comes to social engineering attacks,
that's
as I've heard.
Well, here's to hoping that their own infrastructure is comparable to what they had before, you know. They want to see a downgrade in service.
Okay, what the hell is this? Western Digital has released a hard drive optimized for the Raspberry Pi. The 314 gigabyte drive released on Pi Day, 314, which was yesterday. By the way, everyone was talking about Pi Day.
Is that an SSD there, Michael?
No, there would be no reason to attach an SSD to a Pi. Its storage interface would never be capable of keeping up with it.
Because you know what's interesting to me is Western Digital seems to create specialized hard drives for all these different purposes. They've got like the WD red drive, the WD purple, black, blue, all these different colors, and I see no difference between the red and the blacks.
Well, there's clearly a difference between the red and the blacks, in the sense, well, actually, you're right. The new reds have large caches, and they also spin at 7,200 RPMs.
Right.
So there's not a whole lot, I guess, then to make the blacks that much different. Yeah, you're right. They've oversaturated with these colors. I think they need to pare them down a little bit. And, you know, I mean, if you're, you know, the choice between a red and a purple sometimes is a little bit tough for me. Choice between a red and a black, as you mentioned. But
oh, nice. Tax return thingies are due today.
This is an interesting article. I'm looking up for this Pi, but yeah, it looks like they just created it for power efficiency. It's more of a gimmick, I would say. I mean,
yeah, I feel like that's kind of where they're going. Is
they just needed to have an announcement on Pi Day to make them sound cool.
Right, right, and people are going to buy the drive because they claim it's optimized, and really it's just another one of their hard drives that they just kind of tweaked a couple settings on.
Mm-hmm. Let's see, one other thing. Looks like, not that I ever use these social media services, but all of them, Google, Facebook, WhatsApp, and others, they're beefing up their encryption. You know, people are generally in agreement and not liking the fact that the government is interfering with that. And so I'm happy to see continued support for keeping encryption around and not creating backdoors and not reducing our security anymore in the guise of allowing our government to do their jobs. In other words, guess what? If my job is building houses, and for some reason houses get more difficult to build, if there's all these new technologies and new materials and new stuff that's coming out and it's too hard to keep up with, I still got to learn that to keep my job. If you're in the CIA or you're in the intelligence business, yes, it might be hard to get information, but guess what? That's your job, so you have to work that much harder to get it now. Sorry, the bad guys have come up with tools that make your job a little bit more difficult, but that just puts the onus back on you to do better. And doing better by, forcing software loopholes, forcing backdoors, forcing encryption to lose its ability, reducing the encryption to the point where they can break it freely. All these things are not the solution to the problem. And I believe privacy was an implicit grant of somewhere in our Constitution, but I'm not a constitutional scholar. But anyway.
Thank you for admitting that.
Yeah. Oh, wow. 6 tiny robotic ants weighing 3.5 ounces in total pull a 3,900-pound car. Wow. Wow. So they've made an artificial ant that actually can perform like an ant as far as their...
An ant colony or one ant?
6 ants pulled the car.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Like, how big are these ants? Like, huge? Like...
Here's they're tiny. No, they're literally are tiny.
What? Really?
I'm looking into it in a little bit more detail, but it kind of sounds really interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, they're I mean they're bigger than ants, but they're not huge, like, you know, they look like little, I guess, the size of little
Like robotic
crabs,
ants
like
or what?
crabs, like a crab size, maybe a reasonable size crab, you know, so they're maybe this big. Still, 6 of those little guys pulling a 3,900-pound car. That's
Holy
impressive.
shit.
That's impressive. So take a look at that. That's a fun little read there, it looks like. Brantley would, I wish you were here for this, but Microsoft no longer accepts Bitcoins as payment. I don't know if that's going to be a trend.
Ah,
Dropping
snap.
Bitcoin.
I was gonna do a
Yeah, an Xbox Live subscription with
with
Bitcoin. Yeah.
Bitcoins, yeah.
Yeah.
I just had a
So,
bunch laying around from the
but you know
virus.
what? I bet here. Look. I bet here was the situation. The government was like, "Oh God, you can't use the bitcoins. It's going to bring the terrorists because they're going to obviously want to talk through the Xbox One live communication or whatever." But that is a big thing, though. I have heard that they sometimes bad groups congregate in the chats on those. But you know, those chats can probably be monitored anyway, and Microsoft has the ability to monitor them certainly. So they could open up a back door to it. But I really don't think removing the Bitcoin payment method, unless there was just some back-end problem with them processing it. I don't know. But that's did I post the link? No, I might not have posted the link here. Yes, looks like a largest kitten size. Yes, I don't know about, well, maybe kitten size, Glenn, but still pretty small. You know, and they'll probably make some improvements to that, I'd say.
Did you already see this, Michael? Google doubles its bounty for the Chromebook hack to
Yeah,
$100,000.
that was the first one that I posted. That's
That's
6
really
figures.
interesting.
That's crazy. I mean, that's the largest bounty I've seen in a while.
Yeah.
For something. I mean, that's, first of all, Chromebooks are cheap, so I mean, if you know, you could easily acquire one and spend the rest of your days, you know, working it out. And if you came up with something, that'd be a nice little bonus. I don't know if I have the skill to accomplish that, but have you hackers, security guys out there who good at breaking into things, please claim that bounty.
It's crazy.
Okay.
Michael, here's something that customers are reporting back to me.
Oh.
Windows 10 is installing itself automatically on its own without any user interaction.
Glenn said that earlier.
Yeah. And so what Microsoft recently has done is they've been slowly removing the ability for Windows 7 and Windows 8 users to opt out of it. They've reduced the things that they can click on to make the windows disappear.
Right.
They've changed the wording of the updates.
Well, so this is a business client, but they weren't running on a domain.
Well, that's the thing. The only people who get the exception is the
the ones that are running on a domain. So he was just running a small little office, and he had clicked no several times. Do not remind me again. I do not want Windows 10.
Mm-hmm.
And then he comes back one morning, and everything's all changed. His wallpaper is gone. Windows 10 is installed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that's harsh.
Rough. That's rough.
Yeah, he was pissed.
There's solutions, I mean, but you have to do them proactively and not after the fact.
I had posted in my company chat, there's a registry edit, and there's actually a little tool you can run too, and it disables the ability for Windows 10 to even install. But you have to be proactive about it. Like if you miss that, then
what's the tool? Is
if
it
you can post it, please.
So what it was GWX something probably?
Hang on. I don't have the IRC pulled up.
I think Glenn put something in there. Let me look. Or like this morning, last night.
Let's see. I posted it in my advising friends. Let's see. Scroll up.
Or not. I don't know. GWX Control Panel, he said.
Yeah, it's called GWX Control Panel. Did he post a link?
There is a link to something. Ultimate Outsider Thermos posted. It's ultimateoutsider.com.
And
yeah,
check into it.
Remind somebody if they're unhappy with their phone companies, guys.
Yeah.
You probably don't even have the right to sue your phone company. As part of your contract, you almost certainly signed away your right to sue. So there was a recent
Generally,
case
you
with
do
a
when
class
you're.
action lawsuit against AT&T, and I don't know if this particular part of it came up in that, but they basically turned it down. Class
I
action
mean, that's
status.
kind of what part of the contract is generally about, or most of the contract. I mean,
Yeah,
if you
I mean,
sign
this
a
shouldn't
contract,
be a surprise, but I have a feeling that a lot of you out there don't quite realize that that's something you're signing away.
thank you, Ryan. I think that's all you actually needed to do was that little reg key.
That tool, the GWX, does the reg key.
Yeah, but so would a few bytes worth of a file that you can double click on called something.reg
Did we?
Oh,
with that in it, and the word above that, Windows Registry Editor version 5.0.
I'm kind of liking this idea, and this is something that was frustrating previously when I used to game, but the Xbox and PC gamers will be able to play online with other platforms, including PS4. So take a look. That's kind of interesting. I didn't think they'd ever allow that, but apparently it looks like that might be the case.
Ryan, that's what you were trying to silently add to DSS that we were talking about yesterday. Was that exact key that he's trying to that he wanted to script with DSupport Suite and D7, and we did yesterday. That was for that key. It was for the disabling GWX and the Windows 10 installs.
So that's being added to D7?
Well, Ryan did yesterday, and we showed him how to do it on the show, but we didn't know what the registry key was for. We didn't know.
Oh,
We
just on his own. I gotcha.
Yeah, like he did it on his own just to create a custom app for a registry script to import that, and then he did that on his own, and we helped him with that, but because it's not actually clear even that you can do it the way that you can do it, but it was for that disabled GWX. So yes, theoretically, if you have DSupport Suite, or you can roll out that change to all your people in that same way. Or if you have D7, D7.2, D7X when it comes about, you could do that as a custom app. Obviously, it sounds like a good idea to actually put in as a regular feature, but in the meantime.
I'll see you, Glenn. Take care. Yes,
All right, later, Glenn.
That's my fault. Yes, I know. Yes, Mike. I'm sorry. That's my fault. I wasn't supposed to be broadcasting today, but it turned out I am. Anyway, if you guys want a $12,000 watch that doesn't tell time, there you go.
I do not hear a telephone ring. Is there a telephone ring?
You wouldn't have heard it. You wouldn't have heard it, but they did. But everybody else did.
Okay, I'm just looking at the your mess.
Yeah, that was somebody trying to chat with me that I skipped this time because she got mad at me. But anyway, $12,000 watch that doesn't tell time. Check it out. At least they're honest about it, though, unlike Apple's iWatch. Well, I guess there are more uses for the iWatch, but that was a low blow.
Oh, that is crazy. Entirely essential, yet fundamentally useful. How can it be entirely essential then if it's fundamentally useful? Oh my goodness, that looks fun. That was horrible.
Yeah, we're also big fans of John Oliver here, and he had a great show about.
I have never seen the man ever, actually.
Well,
we are not big fans.
Brantley and I are fans of John Oliver, and we like his show. And he actually
I have
talks
never
about
seen his
technology
show.
a little bit more than some others do, and he'll go on head to head with some of the bigger issues if he feels like it. And he's covering Encryption this week.
Okay.
And it's supposed to be a reasonable one. It's always hilarious, and I think it's to the point. So if you guys want to watch that, the minimum recommended requirements have been posted for Doom. We're fans of Doom, or I'm a fan of Doom, and I know a lot of you played it out there, but it's going to be the system specs for it if anybody's looking to purchase it.
Ooh.
What else?
I'll buy it when it comes out.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see. Anything else? We're kind of getting a little bit over our hour, but let's see if we have anything else. Anybody gotten a Galaxy S7 yet? I don't have anything to talk about.
Who would buy a Samsung phone?
I'm just curious because it's been getting a whole lot of attention, of course, recently.
Are they? What are they doing with that? I mean,
well, they're supposed to be temporarily the best phone, like above Apple's i6s and stuff like that. But of course, when Apple refreshes,
well, see, I'm like everyone else, and I just go to the store and I just buy an S7 whenever it comes out. I'd be like everyone. That's just who I am.
I don't do that. I buy what?
I'm kidding. I'm not like everyone else.
Yeah, you are.
No, I'm not. Be like everyone. I did go to the store and check it out, though. Didn't buy it. It's not much different than the S6.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what they're up to. Phones, I mean, it's like, okay, hardware is one thing, but then again, there's the crap that I don't want on my phone.
That's why I buy Nexus phones. I've got a 6P and I love it.
I have the Nexus 6, the first Nexus 6, and I actually just got I got Jade finally. She had a Galaxy S4, and so her daughter could get that for her birthday. Jade got a new phone, and it was a Moto X Pure, but we bought it from Motorola. You know, ain't buying it from Verizon.
Well, the Nexus 6 is a Motorola phone. I've got that phone.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's what I have. And
6P is Huawei.
The point, actually, it was like Motorola was where I was trying to stay in that.
Yeah. You know? I had my heart set on Motorola, but I just jumped to the 6P, and I don't know. I thought it would be pretty crappy knowing Huawei. Huawei is like the Hyundai of cars. Like all of a sudden they're like, just kidding. We're going to make nice stuff now.
That's so weird. A and B, it was like also I considered that, but I didn't want just some unexpected junk. I mean, I didn't think it would be, but it was smaller, and the specs on all of those Nexuses right now are like not as good as they were. You know, it's like, or they're as good as they were, like for storage and stuff like that, but they're not any better. You know, it's like you can't get, the higher internal storage. You can't get, it's like.
Yeah, they all have the octa-core processors. They all have the 128 gigabyte storage.
No, they don't. Not all of them have 128 gig. You can't get that on.
You can buy up to.
No, you can't. Or you couldn't when I looked like a month ago, because I was looking into it for and that's why I didn't go with the Nexus, because
up till a month ago I could buy
anything over 64 gig.
I could buy an Nexus 5.
One model is only 32 gig.
I could buy a Nexus 5 or Nexus 6 from
I don't know about the Nexus
Verizon. 6. From Verizon. Well, I would pick the 5, but from Verizon, I could have purchased one. I actually was thinking about doing that, and I waited a little while, and then I came back, and guess what? They stopped selling them. Of course, their store is full of accessories from when they were selling them a few weeks previously, but they no longer sell them because of some disagreement with Google. Pisses me off. Frustrates me to no end that I can't get the phone that I want.
So, buy now.
But listen, there's for all you guys that like small form factor computers, building those little boxes for projects and other things. There's an interesting review of their new.
Okay, so the 5X gives you only you can only get a 32 gig option with the 5X.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's a big difference between the 5X and the 6P.
Okay, the 6P does give you 128 now. It did not before. It was only 64 gig. I'm serious.
So what I'm saying is nowadays, like now with the 6P and the iPhone 6S and the 7 coming out here soon, I don't know how soon, but I mean everyone now is like pushing towards these giant storage options, these fast processors. I mean, literally they're the same phone when it comes down to it. I mean, you can't get much better than an octa-core processor.
Well, yeah, I mean, basically for that, but I mean, that's where it is making the difference, like your storage and stuff. Example, I had 64 gig on that S4, I think, or 32 or 64 on my 64, I think, on my S4. I had issues with storage, and Jade has consistently had them with 32. So it's and I know there's a ton of there was a ton of vendor installed junk on there from Verizon. That's where those came from.
You know,
but
I think I scaled down in storage space. My 6 was a 64, my 6P is a 32, I think.
Mm.
I don't know if I like that decision. I mean, I haven't maxed it out yet, so.
Yeah, I will never. I'm not getting less than 128. It's just not going to happen. Anything. Still rock the S4, Mike. The S4 was a darn good phone, Galaxy S4, though. I rocked it for a long time, and Jade is just now retiring hers, but it's going to her daughter, so.
Listen, guys, yeah. I wanted to, I wanted to make sure we weren't ignoring the chat. Mike, SpyScore Mike says Samsung's great and iPhone, the specs don't lie. Thermos.
Didn't I just respond to him right before you just jumped in?
Did you? Oh,
I was just.
I didn't realize you mentioned that. I'm sorry.
Hey, and let's pay attention to what's life, Michael.
Okay, Thermos.
Let's pay attention to what's going on around you in all aspects.
I like Thermos's response though. Apart from its waterproof, got an SD card, a far faster processor, a better camera. It's exactly the same. Yeah. So
Mike, I have no idea. The problem is that there's so many just apps. Basically, I don't get it. You know.
Nick's complaints is that there's too many apps installed. Send a memo to everyone.
And the Android OS on the S4 does not particularly care for you moving half of those apps to the SD card. It won't let you.
Yeah.
You store data on the SD card for those, and it's like, well, yeah.
That's why I just root my phones and then remove all that shit.
Mike from SpyScore is asking, are you guys filling up your 32 gigs? And then he also says, what about cloud storage?
That's what I was just responding to, Michael. Thank you for catching up yet again.
Okay.
So I fill up my 32 gig with cached music. So I've got all my music on Google Play. I've got a Google All subscription. So I don't actually store music on my phone, but the cache. So I have Google Play set to cache all my music. As I'm listening to my playlist, it downloads it all. And that's where my storage gets filled up.
Yeah.
And then eventually, you know, I run into the problem I've got too many apps as well. And when I start installing apps, and over a year's worth of time, I end up getting about 150 apps. So.
Yeah. It is.
Well, and pictures and videos too, especially with my new camera where it can shoot 4K video.
I know, and then
a lot of storage.
It's like I do have my junk backed up to through the Googles, but I would love to go to a different thing, but I need to research something different there. But using the Googles, it does back up all the stuff automatically, and but yeah, in the meantime, you're shooting that video at 4K or whatever, And
that's not super often for me, and I've always wondered, well, what kind of stuff do I essentially really need on my phone at any point? And the answer is I really don't. I mean, I can offload my pictures, and I don't necessarily need those all on there to be able to look.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why I jumped for a 32 gigabyte. Is I'm just like, I'm not going to get, much better than that. It's not like I need that stuff on my phone.
I'm not trying to store massive amounts of data on my phone, frankly. I don't want that to be the case. I'm doing something wrong, I think, if that's the case.
Michael, what I'm about to say is responding to Mike at SpyScore in the chat, okay? Just to let you know ahead of time.
Excellent. Yes.
And start talking about exactly what I'm talking about. Google Photos beats the pants off of iCloud, Mike says. I don't know anything about iCloud, and I never will. But I know that Google Photos, actually, I don't know anything about Google Photos because I thought I was just figuring out Picasa, and then there's Google
Then they
Photos,
ripped
and then
it.
there's
No.
it was Google Plus Photos, and then there's Google Photos, and then
That's all the same thing.
But wait, no, it's on Google Drive too. So there's yet another interface for the same photos to be.
Yeah, so it's all the same thing, and Picasa is gone.
It's all the same thing, but once you use all of these interconnected services and applications, shit starts getting screwy, real screwy. Okay. And everything of mine started on Picasa. Google Plus added a ton of stuff. Google Photos was here. I still have Picasa. I still have Photos. I use the Picasa app, in fact. And I guess maybe that doesn't work now. I don't know. I haven't fired it up in a bit.
Yeah, Picasa's gone.
And it's hard, and it's horrible because then I had the videos on my system through the Picasa app and through Google Drive cached over here and all this other mess. And so now I've got like multiple copies of all these photos and videos on all these devices that I don't need because I use all these services, and they're confusing the shit out of me. And they want to organize stuff differently. I'm really just pissed off about it. Actually, really just pissed.
Well, I can totally understand that. I think though the reason I prefer Google backup versus iCloud is really just automatic. I mean, it just runs in the background, and that's really about it. It doesn't allow you to really go in there and change a whole lot. It's just there. You can either turn it on or off, and then on or off for different services. I mean, it's just a backup. I mean, as you really go in there and you can see what's in there, but it's a lot more versatile with Google services.
If they'd ever figure out what the hell they want to offer and stick to it.
Yeah, Google's just going downhill.
Yeah, it's like Google's like 50 of the best companies out there all merged under one name doing their own different thing. And there's like a headless guy at the top going, wandering around like Moses in the desert or something.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, hello. Get it together.
Ryan's saying Amazon Prime includes unlimited photo backup. It does, from what I heard, but I couldn't get it to work.
I forget what I read about that Amazon Prime app that includes that and includes the music.
So I tried to log into Amazon
the new
Prime
shopping app, and I from whatever I read, and I don't remember why, but I was told I basically formulated the decision to never ever install that shit on my phone for some reason, and I forget why. But it was, I think, privacy related.
I don't know, when I logged
security
in,
related, something like that.
It wouldn't recognize me as an Amazon Prime member. It kept saying that I had to start a trial, and then I'd get the unlimited photo backup.
So regret bringing up cell phones. I'm so sorry.
Thanks, Michael. Wow, you're here.
Hey, at least you didn't have to talk for a little bit. That's a passionate topic for me when you start talking about.
No, but it's a useful discussion, and we certainly had some people chime in on it.
Certain things. Actually, the passion topic for me is Google services. Actually, it's not.
Yeah, it's because
it's that I like so many Google products, but I reject the way that they don't care about them.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
They just have so many competing products under the same brand.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've had a really good show today. We're 20 minutes over. You guys want to try to break it?
Yeah. Let's wrap it up. I need to get back to coding some. I got to go into surgery here in a few hours.
Please.
Get this. I'm getting this.
That's nothing. You'll be fine.
Yeah, whatever that thing is. Hey, it's not fine when I hit the here. That's probably good. It's not fine when I'm tapping the space bar with that.
No, I can imagine that must hurt. It must be painful. What are you? Stop it, Michael. Michael. All right, guys. All right, thanks for joining us, everyone. Big shout outs to our chat guests, the entire Futures Tech crew. We love you, Nels. We love you, Shree. We love you, Clark. Of course, Mike Learman. Thanks for getting on the, filling in the spot.
Quick shout out to Thermos, right quick. As long as we're shouting out, he did mention he just uses the OneDrive app, and he's ashamed that MS dropped the free storage. Hey, you know what? And on the phone, that's great. And I was just thinking, you know what? I was just thinking of the desktop app and a completely different subject about limiting the bandwidth that it uses. That might be something to look into on the phone too. Okay. But in any case, I've got the answer for that, and through group policy essentially. You have to limit the
Oh.
bandwidth of the process. It's the only way you can do it with OneDrive. It's something I had to do, because all the Google Drive, OneDrive, all these on cloud, everything sync in, and my bandwidth and this show. And I'm
Just gonna
sorry.
keep in mind if you. No, it's very good. Thanks for sharing.
We'll talk about that tomorrow. If you remind me, I'll tell everybody about little group policy.
Bill, thank you for joining us. Bye. We'll see you guys tomorrow. And Spice Corp, Mike,
yeah, thanks for the show, guys, and good luck with your procedure later, Nick.
Thanks for dropping on.
Absolutely.
Oh, and thanks.
And Shuk, please join us again. And Mike, Spice Corp, you're always welcome. It was very nice meeting you yesterday and your wife, and I had a great time out there. So take care. Right, that was your wife, Mike, right? I think it was. Or, is it the right mic? Am I thinking there was too many mics? Or
Yeah.
were you the... well, anyway, thank you to all, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Our show tomorrow is at 2 p.m., I believe, and that's Wednesday. So, yeah. All right.
Bye-bye.
How do I stop this?